like that. Welcome, good-looking people, to an extra credit episode. Um, we had planned to record this a couple of days ago, and then we both kind of snoozed and didn't happen. So we thought, let's do it now.
Yes.
Yes. So, Brett, do you also have a conspiracy you'd like to bring out to the masses?
I don't, but I'm very interested in what yours might be.
Well, terrific. So, Brett, I'm going to lay out my evidence very clearly and concisely, and I will also pitch to you if you at any point would like to step in and throw out some evidence that you have seen as well to help in this regard. And I think we're going to really nail down of what this show is.
Okay.
So, Brett, I'm going to make it very clear and very direct. If we're to believe most of the things this show says and Corey is saying what is his life, what is his world, we have to assume that Corey lives in the Truman Show. I know what you're saying,
Okay.
Brett. Truman Show wasn't out before Boy Meets World was a thing. No, no, it was not. But as we know, since a few episodes ago, as of recording, Eric decided to Truman Show his life, and all of a sudden, reality TV became this big boom. And there were other snippets of these things around as well. But think about it, Brett. In this past episode, we literally just recorded. Corey says, and I quote, "My kindergarten teacher was Mr. Feeney. Mr. Feeney was my teacher for all of my classes. Isn't that interesting?" Now, Brett, outside of it being a funny line, Corey is puzzled by this because he's never thought about the fact before that at no time in his life has he ever not had Feeney as a teacher. He's had other teachers, and we've seen them, but Brett, how many times have we talked about how, oh, of course Feeney's teaching this class?
Mm-hmm.
One has to assume, Brett, that the show in which Boy Meets World is inside of has a very tight budget and can only afford so many teachers. Now, Corey has to have a real education. He can't just be not taught, so Feeney fills that void. And also because
Mm-hmm.
somehow Feeney's also his neighbor, he doesn't think it's weird that both his neighbor and his teacher are the same person and has been the same person his whole life. So, um, yes, and to go back to that, so Corey and Topanga also would then mean that he is the only teacher they have ever consistently had as well. And we have seen other teachers, but Sean confirms this tale at the beginning of the season. Sean says, I'm sorry, Feeney says, "I tried to separate Corey and Topanga once, and he bit me, she kicked me, and some little punk said, 'Leave him alone, you should get married.'" And Sean is confirming this story that Feeney has always been their teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know what you're thinking, Brett. Well, it's just them adding jokes to this of, haha, isn't it funny if he's always been his teacher, yada yada. But isn't it odd that Corey has this realization and it troubles him? It doesn't trouble Sean, and it doesn't trouble Alan and Amy.
It is
Now,
rather odd.
mhm. Now, speaking of Alan and Amy, we can't keep their love story straight of who they were before they got married, how long they dated for, so on and so forth. From our understanding, Alan has been a Navy boxer. He was in the Navy. He was a military vet, but also was a boxing champion in the Navy, which means he'd been there a while.
Mm-hmm.
He also was a touring musician. He worked for a department store as a sweeper, which his dad once had that job. And then he worked as a bag boy in a grocery store and remained in that job for a long time. And eventually he became the manager. Amy has been a part time gallery employee or a real estate agent or just has had no part time job. Now, I could understand, Brett, of a young boy not being able to keep track of his family's life, and we have even tried to explain how can Alan be all these things, and what does Amy do outside of being a mom. And unfortunately, Brett, the more things you stack on top of, either Alan was on some things to let him do all these things, or um, the showrunner can't keep straight of what information they've given Corey, so they just keep flooding more information to confuse him. So when he forgets something important about his dad, they can have a moment of guilt and not appreciate his upbringing. Um, Brett, can you think of a time where Corey is actually traveling outside of Pennsylvania? Not we're told he traveled outside of Pennsylvania, but we see him physically travel outside of Pennsylvania.
Physically outside of Pennsylvania. Well, he does go to Disney World.
Okay, we see him at Disney World, but we don't see him travel there, do we?
No, very true. We do not see him on the plane.
So could it be possible that they quote unquote traveled on this dangerous cargo ship and Corey didn't actually do that, but they made him think that?
It's possible.
Now, I believe they took him to Disney because he was there, clearly, but he didn't stay at a hotel. He somehow was able to sleep on the log ride, which is impossible. So somehow
Hmm.
this teenage boy with no money was able to roam around the busiest place on the planet, and no one thought, hey, what are you doing here? What are you doing in my movie?
Hmm.
Also, he somehow was able to get an Aladdin costume and take over the Etch a Sketch or the character drawing guy stand. How is that possible? If not, he was allowed to have that prop and to do that.
Yeah, Disney's pretty strict.
Now, again, you could argue, well, Brett or Tyler, this is still just a television show that we are watching. It's just a bit, it's just a joke. Haha, just laugh at it. But Topanga wasn't laughing. And in fact, you could argue that Topanga didn't realize what was going on. We'll get more into Topanga later. Brett, we talked about this as well. The Matthews house, the college apartment, Turner's apartment, Chubby's, the elementary school, the middle high school, and Pembroke is somehow all close enough to each other that it's never a surprise for any of them to be anywhere at any given time.
Hmm.
Um, Also, somehow there's a park that's not that far away, that's in walking distance, and Topanga's parents' old house is also very close. Also, the first season when Sean had a house also was not far away from them either.
Yeah.
So either everything is super close, or Brett, it's all in one small town that is quote unquote Philadelphia. It's all in walking slash a short driving distance. Like, I'm just gonna say it. If you got like an hour to go drop off your child, why would you go then the hour to go pick up said child? Wouldn't you just have someone come get them? Because later on we're going to see that Josh is at the college because Eric is using Josh to pick up girls.
Hmm.
Why, if it's about an hour to 30-minute difference, why would you do that? Unless everything is much shorter. Unrealistically, of course.
Of course.
Now, Brett, we've had many conversations about this, but Corey tends to forget about Sean and Topanga's extra siblings,
Oh, yes.
and not just Corey, Brett, but Topanga and Sean tend to forget as well. Now I know what you're thinking, Brett. How is it possible that they can forget? Well, it's pretty simple. Sean and Topanga aren't allowed to talk about them. If Corey were to bring them up, they could either ignore it or deny it or admit to it. But since he doesn't bring it up, they don't talk about it. Um, this is a fun one. So Eric, I believe, in this world, wanted to be written off, but was such a fan favorite, and that's why he was. Sorry. So that's why, so the first season or two, he's kind of in and out. He's not always around. But all of a
Hmm.
sudden, during season three, season four, all of a sudden, there's like a lot of Eric storyline, and including season five. So I'm thinking that around the time of him going off to school, his hope was, I'll go off to school, they'll write me out, and they didn't. And so Eric, the real person, wanted to leave, but producers wouldn't let him. So that's why his zaniness and craziness got more intensified. And because Corey wants to be like his big brother, who's not his real big brother, by the way, but he wanted to be like him, so he started to act more in regard to him.
Hmm.
Brett, let's talk about this love story because apparently Corey was willing to turn down $1 million for the love of his life, Topanga. But what if I told you, Brett, that this woman we call Topanga, what if she likes him a lot, but she just don't love him?
Hmm.
Now I understand what you're thinking, Brett. How is that possible? All the stuff they went through, she even said, I don't just like him, I love him, like I don't want to ever be not with him. What if Brett in season five, when um yeah, so what if in season five, Brett, when there was a accidental hookup situation where Corey and another girl kissed, what if what if the character we call Topanga saw that as an opportunity to get away from Corey and to get
Hmm.
away from this relationship? And thus she tried to distance herself from it and didn't actually want to get back together with him. Um, Maybe you could argue that she actually didn't want to get married to him. Now I know what you're thinking, Brett. She was set to go off to Yale, the faraway land of Yale.
Yale.
Hmm. And she's the one that proposed to him, Brett. But what if? What if right before she was supposed to leave the show, she realized, I bet if I propose to him, I'll get to stay on the show, and then I'll be able to control more of my character and be able to be even more popular. So that's
Hmm.
what she does. But unfortunately, Brett, when she has the chance, because Corey says, we're going to go get married, so they scrambled. We got to find a justice of the peace, let him drive. They get the justice of the peace, and she has the chance to say yes. And what does she say, Brett?
I. I. Oh, you hate to see that.
Yeah. So she says no, Brett. And then she spends literally the next 2 seasons nagging him, including breaking up with him.
Yep.
And then not okay. She spends a whole summer, a whole roughly 2 months, 3-ish months, not talking to him at all, and he's apparently
Hmm.
fine with not talking to her for a whole 3 months. And then she says we're breaking up, and then radically she decides, nope, we're gonna get back together.
Yep.
So I'm not saying that Topanga, potentially the person that we call Topanga, doesn't have affection and feelings for Corey. But does she really love him? Is he really her one? Absolutely not. But Corey, being a young man, was conditioned to believe Topanga to be the one, which is why he is so infatuated with her. Um, Now, I will say, I don't know if I actually wrote this down or not, but in lieu of the season 5, I think that Lauren wasn't supposed to be anything more than just a cute girl who talked to Corey. And Lauren chose to make her mark with Corey, similar to how in the Truman Show, how the one college girl got his attention and he had a crush on her.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Topanga's parents. Need I say more?
Recast and recast.
Yeah, I mean, Corey doesn't notice a difference in any of the three men who play Jedediah. Definitely doesn't notice anything between the two different women who play his mom, her mom. So
Chloe, Rhiannon.
yeah, the names are all over the place. Um, is Topanga from a vegan family, a bookstore owning family, a Yale graduate family? We just don't really get actual clear cut. This is who this family is. And the only
Mm-hmm.
way I can say that it's okay is because Corey forgets all about them and is so scared of them he doesn't pay attention. So the fact that Corey doesn't say a word and just goes with it, that's reason enough for them to say, yep, it's fine.
Yep.
Um, Chet Hunter, Brett. Chet Hunter should be in jail.
Oh, yes.
Not just got arrested, not just, sleeping off a bender. He should be in jail.
Yeah.
There are evidence that he has, whether verbally or emotionally, been abusive, was a drunkard, potentially abused Jack's mother.
Mm-hmm.
So, as much as we love Chet Hunter and he is a silly man who makes a bunch of silly jokes and is ridiculous, probably should be in jail right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna leave that there. I like this one I wrote down. So in the show, a lot of different people have been brought on for a short time period. Think of characters like Griff. Think of characters like Frankie and Joey. And the showrunner tries to figure out, does Corey actually like these individuals? And if Corey does, they get to stick around. If Corey
Mm-hmm.
doesn't care about them, they gone. So think of just the myriad of characters that were on for like only 2 episodes that you're like, no, they were there for a long time. Nope. Corey didn't care for them. They were gone.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it would have helped his brother, that doesn't care. So this is a big one from this season in particular. Corey is seemingly going crazy, and no one cares. And the reason is because no one cares about him. Like, very similarly in the Truman Show, when he kind of starts to have a bit of a mental breakdown, instead of someone being honest with him, like, hey, the reason you're feeling this way is because it is reality for you, and I'm sorry that I'm a part of it, everyone just kind of kept everything going. To the point that his best friend, someone who knew as a kid, was being fed lines, and because he's a good actor, he delivered them.
Mm-hmm.
Not too dissimilar from, say, Sean Hunter, a an Eric Matthews, or a Topanga, who were willing to just say the lines they were fed by the big man in the sky. Oh, I had that. Lauren wasn't supposed to be. Uh, oh, every time there's something going on where Corey could have a choice between his quote unquote love story happiness and something better, Sean is always pushing him for the better and always giving him really bad advice.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we go back to Lauren, his immediate response is, don't tell your girlfriend who you've committed to and you said you want to marry someday. Lie to her because that's the best thing you can do. take the money, marry this girl you don't know. Sean is always willing to give a bad piece of advice. And also, Sean spends a little bit of time away. One could argue Sean took a little bit of a vacation.
Yeah.
Sean talked to him on the phone on Valentine's Day, but that was it. And Sean had been away for a while. He said, "Oh, yeah, I'm really stinky. I'm wearing the same clothes." But, what if he wasn't, Brett?
Mm.
He might be wearing the same clothes real quick before he comes back. He recorded that ahead of time. But for this situation in this moment, one could argue he might be on the beach sipping Mai Tais.
Could be.
And when he comes back, Brett, is Corey at all upset with him, mad at him he wasn't there? Nope,
Not at
he was just
all.
happy as can be because his best friend was back.
Yep.
Wonder how many other times that people left him out of nowhere and he was just happy to have them back. um, Another big one, Brett, and I'm running out of things I wrote down, and we could talk about this more, but Corey has no grandparent deaths whatsoever, and more
Mm-hmm.
importantly, he never has another grandparent visit him at all. We get one
No.
time where there's a Nana Boo Boo, but Nana Boo Boo is mentioned on so many different ways. Who's to say if that really was her or not, or the right Nana Boo Boo? But yeah, at no point is there a grandparent death. Hint of a grandparent had died beforehand. Corey deals with no deaths whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Seems pretty suspicious, if you know what I mean.
A little bit.
So yeah, that is my evidence, Brett. Corey Matthews is actually a young kid who doesn't have an identity because his parents were given to him at a young age, and Corey has been raised with an older brother who he doesn't look anything like because his older brother was casted to be a good-looking kid. His little sister was recasted because she was difficult, and Corey didn't seem to mind whatsoever. And Corey honestly doesn't give two thoughts to his little sister because she's hardly there.
True.
Limitations,
After after the first couple of seasons, he really doesn't give much thought to Morgan.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, Brett, anything you'd like to add to that? Oh, hi.
Well, I mean, especially with all of those day players that come in for an episode or two and then disappear forever, never to be seen again, that Corey never brings up or talks about, hey, where'd TK go? Or, you know, why'd Griff disappear?
Mm-hmm.
Lend some credence to the theory.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll even go deeper, Brett. We had Guitar Guy or Guitar Senior, I think, and then we had Griff. So I think they liked the kid and decided, hey, cut your hair, come back more confident. We got another role for you. I think Corey just didn't care for him.
True, true.
And then I hear what you're saying, Brett, but they had Vader. They had a WWE event, yada yada. Brett, if I've learned anything over the past couple of years, the wrestling world will do anything to make a buck and promote themselves. So give
That's
up a
true.
couple of wrestlers one time. We only see this one match. So was there
Yeah.
another match on the card?
A match that they could run back and forth from and be at a 16th birthday party for.
Mm-hmm. And then it's allowed the ring to be used by the 16-year-old kid. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to tear it down and go to the next town.
Yep.
Unlikely.
The theory makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, the other thing I just thought of. I was thinking about this the other day too. Also, this is the reason why this came up to me. So when he's trying to get his schedule situated, and his friends somehow break the system so they can get all the classes arranged,
Oh
and then
yeah,
he only
yeah.
has classes with Topanga. The actors who were supposed to explain quantum mechanics or
Uh-huh.
quantum physics were just actors, so they didn't know how to explain it. So they went, just speak gibberish, and it'll confuse Corey, and it'll be a big laugh.
Mm-hmm. And then
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
excuse me, we have a staff meeting.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I do love that bit.
So yeah, should have taken the money.
Yeah. Yep. Should have taken the money and married Stan, the
Jessica.
plumber man's daughter, Sam. $2 million.
So yeah, Brett. Do you can you find any holes in this argument?
Well, not necessarily. I mean, they do drive around the state. We do see them driving out and outside of Pennsylvania at the beginning of season 4.
Well,
So he
they're
does
in
leave the
Pennsylvania.
city.
They're you have scenes of them driving around, but in Truman Show he drives around and even is able to
Yes.
drive into getting close to another town or being out far. So,
Yeah.
but Alan's able to drive out to go get them.
Yeah.
So one could argue, in all of this, were they able to knock him out and bring him back in? I don't know. I
That'd be a lot of knocking out.
yeah. Well, they say he went to Wyoming somehow.
That was Eric's 50 state trip. And beach state.
Oh, I have no doubt that
Beach state.
well, the reason why this one can work, Brett, where Truman's show didn't work, is they allowed him to go outside of the bubble. They just didn't let him know he got knocked out.
Mm-hmm.
Those excuses like, "Oh man, you really didn't handle that medicine very well, did you?" No, where are we? Wyoming. How'd we get here?
No, I can't really poke any real holes in it.
Yeah, yeah. It was just after that line about how Feeney has always been my teacher. I was like, "Oh my gosh, what if he's the real Truman?"
Corey is the Truman. Somewhere out there, there's little old ladies with pictures of him on a pillow.
Mm-hmm.
Him on a red flag. Well, they're waving him.
Mm-hmm. I will say that is one Jim Carrey movie I would love to see a sequel in.
Hmm.
Do like a follow up documentary where they're on the search for him,
Mm-hmm.
because that is something they would do nowadays.
Oh, yeah. That would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you could have Jim Carrey reprise his role, but like de-age him a little bit, so it's like new, never seen footage.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well, you'll have to find a really good script for him because apparently he will only come out of retirement for scripts written in gold.
yes. I mean,
Or Sonic the Hedgehog
it's Sonic's
scripts.
franchise or nothing right now. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Too good. Well, thank you.
You need to get
Oh,
back and start
gosh.
slapping some people around.
Well, thank you, Brett, and thank you, good-looking people, for listening to this crazy thought I had, because we think about Boy Meets World way too much and way too in depth, and we just drive our wives crazy, and that's why we have this podcast, so we can share some of these crazy thoughts, and our wives can have a break from our insane thoughts.
Yeah. So thanks for listening. So until next time, good looking people, we'll see you.
Back to you, good-looking.